up? Welcome to the FLP gift exchange.
Oh, we got a sweet pea. We got a sweet pea going wild. Will, there's the official host of the Fatal Lunch podcast. And we're going to get Will's gifts next week. But Pallet's going to give me mine, and I'm going to give Will his gifts for the gift exchange. That dog likes me so. All right, this is your gift, Will, if you want to go first. Or do you want me to go first?
Okay.
Go for it.
I was freaking out for a second. I couldn't find my keys.
So
All
this
right.
one.
I'll go first.
Yeah. So there's three items in there. There's a small one, a medium, and a large. Go from small to large.
Is it the complete Bob Skaggs?
It is.
Or Bob Skaggs, I mean.
All right.
See you, Will.
Okay.
There's nothing in that.
I promise it's 10 minutes a day.
So go small. That's your first one.
KC Ministries merch?
No, I wish I had. We didn't have enough time to do anything like
Oh,
that.
nice.
So it's an American flag.
Hell yeah.
A Bigfoot
Hell
car
yeah.
detail, a decal.
I wonder if I have room to put it in my laptop. If not, it'll go in my
Whatever.
closet at home.
Yeah, whatever you
Yeah.
want. I just
Might be a little big for my laptop, but hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you
just
for
figured
taking those.
two things: patriotism and Bigfoot. That's what America's been built on.
Yes,
And
I
then
agree.
there's medium, which this is kind of just a random thought. I just have never seen it. I figured we could try it on the pod. It's astronaut ice cream, but it's an ice cream sandwich.
Okay. It is a dehydrated ice cream sandwich.
About 30% of my brain went into this. It's been a weird holiday season, especially with the situation with my mom.
Nice.
I've never tried
Did you
something
put
like
water
that.
on it, or do you
No, I think
microwave
you
it
eat
in water?
I think you eat it straight up. We'll try it on the pod.
Okay. So it's like an ice cream sandwich MRE.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the last one is piece de resistance. It's essential for safety.
Yeah, man. I don't know how I could survive without one of these.
Get offie merch.
It is. Next Christmas.
Got 'em.
Yeah, next Christmas we'll have more time.
Air horn. Nice. Nice. When I go hiking in a grizzly bear country, I'll be safe.
Hey, man, just in case you find yourself in one of those portals again, you'll have help. All right, well, Dad, here's your
Thank you,
gift.
fellas, for the gifts. I appreciate it.
Oh, sweet.
Your gifts are en route.
Oh!
No, not for you. There's something in there.
Sweet pea. What is that? All right. Let's see. All right. You want to film me up as I open it?
Yeah. Let's see what this guy got.
Paper. Thank you so much. I love it.
Fire. Start a fire. Build a fire.
Let's see.
It's not for you, sweet pea. First, we'll start with Symphony Bar. I love Symphony Bars. These things are fantastic.
Homer Simpson.
Nice.
He's going straight on the backboard.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Ah! Thank you.
I thought he looked so stupid.
I know, look at his dead eyes.
You come with a moo and the Mr. Plow jacket?
I wish Mr. Plow was OP. Thank you. That was the intro to this episode. We will see you in the studio.
Yummy.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas from the Fatal Lunch Podcast. Enjoy your Red 40 this year and train surf safely.
Monkey and Santa Claus flying through the night, giving out gifts of strumming and monkey might. Oh, dashing down PCH in a banana car sleigh with my boy Monkey. Oh, we got goals and we couldn't quite. We were $1 short and we couldn't quite make bail. But no worries because Pallet's on the FLP. Give you the lowdown on Roswell cake. Cope is sliding down a hill of money, but it's okay. It's for God. Kenneth Copeland took flight with presents for the whole world except for poor countries. Mostly the countries in Africa and Asia and Russia, North Korea and South America and Central America and Canada.
Really just donated his toys to a few people in Texas. But that's the Christmas spirit in the jungle. The booger ball be jingling and Bill Gates called me, he had
a sterilizing soda. He wanted me to drink and I said no, Bill. said, are you sure I got a really cool island in the Bahamas that I want you to go to? It's a lot of fun, Homer Simpson is shit. Ho, ho, this is the fate of love. For God's Christmas special, grab a eggnog of red 40 and sip, break backs and
Monkey.
That was the one. I'm gonna do the intro. It's gonna be the bouncing ball over the lyrics.
Yeah, it'll be funny.
Hey, welcome to the Fatal Lunch Podcast.
Welcome, guys.
Right here is our gift exchange, and we're back. Did you like the gifts Will got? Pretty cool.
But how about we start with an opening clip?
We can do that in a second. But I just want to say Merry Christmas. I know our holiday themed episodes seem to come out a week or two after, and that's okay.
Editing takes a while, people. Okay.
Yeah, it's just funny that way. We have a couple new characters. We got Commerce Simpson, and we have African American baby wearing a Misfits pin. You want to check this out. Moldy Jesus has a message for us. So go ahead and show us the clip.
You're watching the Fatal Lunch Podcast. I love train surfing.
As Jesus.
You're watching the Fatal Lunch Podcast.
One more time. One more time. Moldy Jesus comes. Look at his eye.
You're watching the Fatal Lunch Podcast.
Moldy Jesus comes to life.
I love train surfing.
Oh man.
Glad J-Man had a good time train surfing in India.
This episode's gonna be about
Wait,
Roswell, but
This isn't India. Look at the writing on the train.
You're watching the Fatal Lunch Podcast. I love train surfing.
Look at the type. See, look at it.
does look a little Arabic.
So it's probably Pakistan.
Oh, you're right. So ChatGPT does, or I mean, Sora doesn't know the difference between India and Pakistan. What looks?
Nothing. My camera looked stupid for a second.
Oh, good.
It's a train from Pakistan to India.
Yeah, it's crossing the border. I was trying to get
It's their Polar Express.
I was trying to get a hold of our boy Bismillah to make us an intro message for this one. I just dropped the ball on that. So
well, next week.
yeah,
Or the week after.
Look at. Yeah, see, the writing's all Arabic.
You're watching.
all right.
He wants a couple shekels to come on the show.
Oh.
We'll kick him a couple bucks.
Show him the slider one. Did you watch last week's episode yet?
Yes.
Did you see where you made the comment? What if you were gloving and sliding at the same time?
Oh no, I did not. Okay, let's watch it. I want to watch this. Nice. Yeah, nice.
And then I cut it together with go to the other clip after it. I cut it together with this clip right here.
We were at the scene where history was made last night, and a world's first, a slider became a glover. Let's cut to that footage.
I cut this part out, so
Yeah.
you just see the guy sliding down the street. For some reason, they made a slider burger turn into a glove. I don't know why. If I cut that out, you don't see that little peek behind the curtain there. And then click the top one because Aiden says, "Do you remember this in the Bible?"
Oh my God, I do remember this in the Bible.
This ride's a blessing.
Gravedigger.
Jesus driving the armor of God.
Yeah, Jesus on riding drag.
This ride's a blessing.
This ride's a blessing. That's gonna be my new catchphrase. This ride's a blessing.
Jesus riding Gravedigger.
So go watch up in this corner is last week's episode.
Where could folks in internet land find all this wholesome, entertaining content, Goose?
Fatal Lunch Podcast.
Oh, that's
on YouTube.
Are you
Fatal
saying
Lunch
that?
Podcast is a blessing.
Yes.
So the clips are going to get like what we were explaining last week. Now I'm going to curate the clips as opposed to using a program, and we're going to do a best of for episode 49. I'm working on that right now. Yeah. So you want to do one or two of Will's clips?
Yeah, and then get to my whole.
Yes. This ride's a blessing.
All right, I guess we got to do the
Dan
Christmas
Pena.
clip, right?
Dan Pena telling you what the true meaning of Christmas is all about.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, you want to put
In
yourself
the Dan
back in?
Pena way.
You want to put yourself back in, Pallet?
There we go. Let's see this.
That's what Christmas is supposed to look like, you poor f***. Merry Christmas to YouTube, and all you poor f***s out there, you know. And we're going to show, that's pan down. Move a little, move. That's what Christmas is supposed to look like, you poor f***.
Real Kenneth energy.
And if it doesn't look like it, there's about 300 presents here. If something ain't right, if your Christmas doesn't look like this. That's what Christmas is supposed to look
Nice.
There you go.
Gotta
All right,
love
there you go.
capitalism.
I agree with him. Let's see. You want to do this one?
Thought about family, friends, and caring about others and giving. It's about materialism.
Exactly.
Thanks,
That
Dan.
is the American way. All right, click it. Doesn't matter.
Stand still.
Reality, man, reality.
It's a bad show, like ripping on like a dude on like LSD.
Pilot light.
Come on, son.
Even if your body does die, your mind will live on.
Yeah, we know. Come on.
Well, it's
Stand
making
still.
some sense.
Reality, man, reality.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
Just go to one of my clips real quick, and then we'll get into we'll let Pallet intro the topic. The
I want to see this guy.
do the one up top, and then do the one below.
Come over.
Where are we going?
Oh, around. It's a surprise. You like surprises?
I do.
Okay.
Not for the demiurge.
Not exactly, not from the demiurge,
where are we
right?
going?
And then do the one below it.
Around. It's a surprise.
I got to click X.
Come over.
Where are we going?
Oh, around. It's a surprise.
That's funny.
That
You
is.
like surprises?
I do.
Okay.
It turned out all right for Isaac after all, at least.
Come over.
I mean, he lost the tip of his wee-wee, but didn't lose his life. I like the flickering of the LEDs. It picks up on the frame rate of the camera. Makes it look like little candles.
Let's see if okay, guys. Let's see what. Gotta see. You will.
PJG.
I got a nice presentation for you guys about Roswell.
Yep, we spun the wheel, and Pallet got his favorite subject,
Aliens. He is the most enthusiastic of us about aliens. So
He researched and he put this thing together. We'll take turns reading it, I guess.
Should we stay in this scene or should we go wide?
Well, we'll go. When you read, go to you, I guess, and then when we read, and go to us, and then we can switch between pictures.
I'll
we'll break it up with a couple clips. So
I'll just go to wide. Or yeah, I'll just do my cam. All right, guys. This is not a common camera you see, but you know. Let's get this going.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
All right,
this so some of the sources were a Wired article. Link for the Wired article down below. If Pallet remembers what YouTube videos he watched, those will be linked down below. And then Will, you said you watched something about it last night.
Yeah, I watched a documentary on Roswell
All right,
last
guys.
night.
For 75 years, one name has refused to stay buried. What do you guys think that name is?
Alexandria.
A little more. That's a little more. But what about you, Will? What do you think that is?
Göbekli Tepe.
Close, but it is Roswell. Roswell is a city in the state of New Mexico. Say it loud, and it instantly conjures images of flying saucers, little green men, secret bases, and government that knows far more than it has ever admitted. For some, Roswell isn't a mystery. It is the birthplace of modern conspiracy itself, maybe even the moment idea of deep state. First root in American imagination. So, people, when they think of aliens, there's a lot of thoughts. Who built the pyramids? People that just, come from space. There's a lot of theories about aliens.
Interdimensional beings. Angels from the Bible.
A lot of things are aliens. But what do you think made them mainstream? It was this story right here.
Which that's why it's so funny Pallet got this one, because this is like the quintessential alien UFO.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the Titanic is the first conspiracy, but the Roswell is like the first massive conspiracy, right? Everyone talked about it.
There's been conspiracies since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
But today, Roswell is a city of about 50,000 people, southeastern New Mexico, 3 hours from Albuquerque. I know it's Albuquerque. I just wanted to screw around. 3 hours from El Paso, and it has fully embraced its infamy. There is a UFO museum, a spacewalk, even a McDonald's shaped like a flying
Dude, we got to go
saucer.
to that.
We definitely have to go to that McDonald's.
Alien kitsch lines, the streets glowing green in the desert sun. But what actually happened there? That question has taken decades to unravel, and the trail winds through the secret military programs, Cold War paranoia, nuclear weapons, and the explosive rise of conspiracy thinking in U.S. politics. We know this much for sure. Something crashed outside of Roswell, in late June or early July of 1947 and happened exactly the wrong or right moment in history. Just weeks earlier, the modern UFO era had been born. On June 24th, 1947, a 32-year-old businessman named Kenneth Arnold was flying his small prop plane near Mount Rainier in Washington State. Arnold wasn't a novice. He was an experienced rescue pilot with thousands of flight hours. But that afternoon, something caught his eye. A bright flash. At first, he assumed it was sunlight reflecting off another aircraft. But then he realized he was watching not one object, but 9. They were moving fast, in formation, spread across miles of sky. Arnold would later say he couldn't see trails, no exhaust, no contrails, just objects, darting and weaving like the trail of a Chinese kite, moving at the speed that made no sense. He timed them with a clock on his dashboard. The result was staggering. By his estimate, these things were traveling somewhere between 1,200 and 1,700 miles an hour, faster than anything known to exist at the time. He watched them for 3 full minutes. He even rolled down his window to make sure it wasn't a reflection.
So Kenneth Arnold, if people don't know, this was the first mainstream UFO sighting. This is where we get the term flying saucer. Because when he described what he was seeing, he said that they were boomerang shaped, but they were kind of skipping across the sky like a saucer. So that's where this is what's leading us to Roswell.
All right. When he landed, he told people that he'd seen a day later. Reporters picked up the story. The objects were described as saucer-like. Headline writers simplified it. Flying saucers. Within weeks, sightings poured in from across the country. Dozens of reports. More than 30 states in America was suddenly looking up. And that's when the debris showed up in New Mexico. And I think we got a picture for that.
So this is an image of the debris. This is with Major, what's his name? Jesse
A. Marcel.
Jesse A. Marcel.
So he's the one who...
July 8th, 1947.
So click to the next one. There's a better picture of the debris. So that's the alien debris recovered at Roswell. And if you go to the first image in the slide, it's the newspaper that made it all famous. So here it is. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. So the government at this point, on this day, by July 8th, 1947, was admitting that it was a flying saucer.
Yeah. The Army Air Force said that it was they did not say it was a weather balloon or like some other
satellite,
like some weird metal. They just said it was straight a flying saucer. We have a flying. Now they changed their story later, but the first report was that it was a flying saucer.
So we're right here.
Okay.
Well, outside Roswell.
Roswell. And then, so a farmer, so how it all got started, right? A farmer found...
We're going to get into it. It's here, yeah.
Outside Roswell, okay. Outside Roswell, wreckage was recovered, and brought to the commander of Roswell Army Airfield, Colonel William Butch Blanchard. The man was no amateur. He was one of the most respected airmen in the Army Air Force, deeply familiar with experimental aircraft, classified projects, and atomic era secrecy. And the moment he saw the material spread out before him, he knew something wasn't quite right. Jagged wooden fragments, reflective foil-like material, symbols, strange ones, not Russian, not English, not anything he recognized. Yeah, supposedly the materials had like hieroglyphics on it.
So there apparently was a T-shaped bar that was found that was
or like metal railings or
that looked a lot like load bearing, like metal struts.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like railings or struts, like PJ said, with like weird hieroglyphics on it, and they're supposed to be like sheet metal, but like it was real light, and you could like ball it up.
That picture works
into like a foil ball, and you could drop it, and it would
spring
go
back.
flat. It'd spring back to being flat. Again.
Memory metal, essentially.
Yeah. And you could.
So nobody's seen a picture of it, but this is what the I-beam looked like, and the farmer who found it, he wrote down the symbols as he seen it.
Yeah, and the material you couldn't cut it. Like you could get shears, you could get a torch. You could not cut it. Supposedly, according to the testimony. Now, what we saw in the picture is definitely weather balloon material. It's like nylon or whatever, and foil and whatever the hell else that was.
Yeah, why would an intergalactic traveling species use wood?
Yeah.
So okay.
And let me get back to this though before we go off into it.
We're just describing what they saw.
Yeah.
You can go back to Weede.
And at that moment, this is Colonel William Butch Blanchard. Supposedly he showed his son the materials. We'll get into that later. And the moment he saw the material spread out before him, he knew something wasn't quite right. Jagged wooden, did I read this already? Jagged wooden fragments, reflective foil-like material.
You did, not a big deal. You're not far behind.
Okay, symbols and strange ones. Cryptid, all right? Not Russian, not English. I think I read this already, but that's okay. It's good to read it again. Not anything he recognized. They looked, some said, almost like hieroglyphs. The debris had been found by a local rancher and Mr. Mac Brazel. Thinking it was so I guess he was a cattle. Let's just say he was a cattle rancher. Mm-hmm. It was military. The county sheriff sent him to the nearest air base. Soon after, military intelligence officer. Supposedly he talked to a reporter too, and the reporter's like, you should probably.
Well, he had the debris for about a week before he decided to do anything with it. He just kept it in his shed.
I think he showed it to a reporter, and the reporter was kind of dismissed him and was incredulous and like, just show it to the military, dude. Whatever. I got other things going on. Major Jesse Marcel and another man, Brazel, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, would later describe as wearing plain clothes, went back out to the site with him. They collected what they could, rubber strips, metallic foil, tough paper, and sticks, and all brought it all back to headquarters. And I'm assuming that was like the Air Force headquarters. Blanchard knew the U.S. military had built a lot of strange things, but this wasn't one of them. It didn't look like any aircraft. It didn't resemble anything tied to nuclear weapons. It wasn't likely a backyard inventor's experiment. This was remote New Mexico, after all. Maybe it was a test. Maybe it was Russian. Or maybe, just maybe, it was something from another world. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm opening something if you guys are hearing.
Okay, open away. Blanchard was known as bold, decisive. Some called him fearless. Others called him a loose cannon. And at this moment, standing over unidentifiable wreckage in the middle of a national flying saucer panic, he had a decision to make.
Well, so we'll sum it up at the end, but this is why it kind of seems like maybe it's not alien, because this was during sort of the height of a UFO, hysteria, if you will, moving across the United States.
But Blanchard didn't hesitate. That was his reputation. When others paused, he acted, and he stood over the wreckage. The thoughts settled in his mind with a frightening kind of clarity. He knew exactly what he was looking at. This was one of those things, the objects everyone had been whispering about. The lights in the sky, the flying saucers. But most of like the UFO activity, right, was seen after Roswell. Like there were people would say they saw weird lights in the sky after Roswell, right?
Yeah, but so it became more mainstream and people were reporting it more. But lights in the sky has been a phenomenon since dawn of time, essentially.
So he did something extraordinary. He ordered his public affairs officer, Lieutenant Walter Haut, to issue a press release. And just like that, the impossible was said out loud. The statement announced that the U.S. Army Air Force at Roswell had captured a flying saucer. Not a weather balloon.
And that's and that's that famous newspaper.
Not a weird Soviet craft, or like a weird, like proto-MiG or something. No qualifiers, no hedging, no maybe. The next morning, the words stared back from the page under a bold 2-line headline, which the headline I just announced. Yep.
There's the picture of the newspaper again right there.
Right there. So the RAAF. The Roswell Daily Record reported that the disc had been recovered on a ranch outside town. Found about. So where's the actual ranch from Roswell? I know it's
in Corona.
Yeah, just like 3 to 10 miles.
Okay. By a stunned rancher who'd called the sheriff, who'd called the military. Major Jesse Marcel had inspected the object, the paper said, and then it had been shipped off to higher headquarters. Yeah. So they said they found a flying saucer and then
bodies.
Yeah, and did they say they found bodies, or did that come later?
They were Vanos fans.
They found the lore is that they found bodies.
Yeah.
In the later interviews, they found 3 bodies and they took them to Wright-Patterson. That's
Okay.
where all this stuff went.
Okay. So they announced that they found
But
a
they didn't
flying saucer.
officially
They
announce-
didn't
they
say
just
that
said
they found bodies.
Just saucer originally.
But supposedly the bodies were like confiscated and it was all hush hush and like taken to like secret military hangar.
Right. The lore is Wright-Patterson. Right is Wright-Pat for short, which contains, I guess, multiple UFOs.
Yeah. And so they took the materials to like some military facility in Texas. I can't remember where. And then a few weeks or a month later, like the government, the feds issued a report that like, well, it actually wasn't a flying saucer. We're sorry.
That's all in here.
It was a weather balloon.
Yep, we'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get to that. No photos, no description, no explanations. And then the phone started ringing. By mid-afternoon, the story had gone national. The Associated Press picked it up. Reporters descended on Roswell. Sheriff Wilcox's office was flooded with calls from across the country and from overseas. One call came from London. The world was listening. And that's when the story changed.
Amid the chaos, reporters reached Blanchard's supervisor, Brigadier General Roger
Superior.
Ramey. Brigadier? Yeah, I said Blanchard Superior. Brigadier General.
Supervisor.
Whatever. It's the same thing, just with brass attached. Commander of the 8th Air Force Station in Fort Worth, Texas.
That's
So
my
there it
D&D.
is.
That's my D&D name. Brigadier General Roger Ramey.
By then, the debris had already been moved there. Ramey didn't hesitate either. He shut it down. There was no flying saucer, he said. No unknown craft. No mystery at all. His experts had examined the debris and identified it easily. It was a weather balloon. Ordinary, mundane, embarrassingly simple. At 5:30 p.m. New Mexico time, the Associated Press issued a news story. This one detailed Fort Worth, Roswell's celebrated flying disc. It said it had been rudely stripped of its glamour. The object was nothing more than a balloon. That night, General Ramey went on local television, calm, confident, smiling slightly, even. He held up a piece of foil and rubber for the cameras and explained the wreckage was a very normal gadget, just the remains of tinfoil covered kite, a rubber balloon, nothing to see here.
It's just a balloon, dummies.
And with that, the military doubled down. I wonder if we can find that footage. You want to go Google this real quick, Pallet? General Ramey holding weather balloon.
Yeah. This is the late 40s, so Americans really trusted the government. Like they're like what the government said was just, if they said something, it was just taken as true, you know.
Exactly.
This is before Vietnam. This is before like kind of like, you know, the era of like I think investigative journalism, which started in the kind of I think this like the 70s.
Yeah. And Vietnam really made that really.
Yeah.
There probably isn't any original footage of it. If I can find it, I'll put it in right here. The headlines changed. The calls stopped. The story faded. But some people noticed something strange. In the span of a single day, the U.S. Army had announced it captured a flying saucer and then insisted it never happened. And once a story like that enters the world, you don't erase it. You just bury it. The country moved on. There were too many lights in the skies, too many stories, too many mysteries to chase. Whatever had fallen near Roswell didn't explain anything. And without answers, the interest died. Almost overnight, Roswell slipped into silence. For the next 30 years, it barely existed in UFO lore at all. A passing mention here, a footnote there, no whispers of alien bodies, no talk of crashed spacecraft, no grand cover-up. Just another strange story that didn't go anywhere. But America changed. Vietnam happened. The Pentagon Papers were released. Watergate proved the unthinkable. The government could lie, repeatedly, and at the highest level.
Maybe the Benny and Barney Hill abduction story.
Oh, yeah. That was the 60s, right?
Yeah. Let me look up what year that was.
62, I think. And once that door opened, it never closed again. In that atmosphere of distrust, the UFO story came back, darker this time. In 1977, a man named Leonard Springfield published a book with a title that sounded like a warning. Situation read, The UFO Siege, book right there. Springfield claimed the country wasn't just seeing UFOs, it was under assault. According to him, encounters were becoming violent. People were being injured, abducted, and behind it all was a secret so deep that even earlier UFO believers had missed it. The cover-up wasn't dead, it was growing.
Oh, my bad. So it's the Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah,
It's
Betty
yeah. 1961.
1961. They were an interracial couple in 1961 who got abducted by aliens. Imagine being them.
Yeah.
So do you understand what's going on yet, Pallet?
Yeah.
So something crashed in a field. The guy had it for a while. Then he reported it. The military came out, gathered it up, said it was a UFO.
Yeah.
The next day said, nope, just a weather balloon. And then the story goes, dark 30 for 30 to 40 years.
For like a month, it was like international news. Like people were really into it. But then the government came out and said, no, it wasn't a flying saucer. It was just a weather balloon.
And then in between that and when this book came out, there are a couple notable UFO encounters, but the Betty and Barney Hill was definitely the big one. We'll look into them. The interrogation tape. I mean, not interrogation, but the hypnotic regression tapes of them are pretty convincing. You're like, something happened to these people. Was it aliens? I don't know. But when Barney is talking about the abduction happened, he's screaming and crying. It's pretty crazy.
So something for sure traumatic happened to them.
Exactly.
Like now people do like I have to put on my Michael Shermer hat for a second. I know I don't want to, but like people can create false memories from hypnosis and
hypnotic regression.
Yeah. So
if you go under hypnotic regression, your case can't go to trial. They don't use it anymore. For that. But for far too long, Springfield wrote, the public missed the real UFOs. Physical mechanical craft did exist, he said, and worse, the U.S. government had them. In 1978, at a UFO conference, Stringfield took things even further. He presented a paper called Retrievals of the Third Kind. In it, he claimed the military had recovered not just craft saucers, but their occupants. So this is when they start talking about finding bodies.
Yeah.
19 cases by his count, nearly 24 witnesses, and a secret Air Force unit only known as the Blue Berets, tasked with swooping in, securing crash sites, and making sure no one ever talked. It was chilling, it was impossible to verify, and it changed everything. Over the years, Stringfield became notorious. His sources were always anonymous. We're still dealing with anonymous sources in the UAP. I can't tell you who gave it to me, but on good authority, it's like, okay, all right.
Jethro was chucking hay bales over his head, and he saw something quite strange. He ain't never been quite right since then. Like that kind of testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His stories arrived secondhand, passed along like whispers in the dark, heavy on detail, light on the proof. But they did something powerful. They rewrote the story. As one ufologist put it later, or ufologist, I don't know the exact saying, people are torn, is it UFOologist or ufologist or ufologist? Stringfield, more than anyone else, made people believe that flying saucers hadn't just visited Earth, but had crashed here and had been quietly cleaned up along with the bodies of their crew. And this idea needed a place, a name, a location. Roswell. There'll be something there for that.
All right.
I'll let you take it from in 1980.
Okay.
Pallet.
Oh,
All right.
Pallet's gonna read. Okay.
I actually enjoy reading. This is.
Ooh, we're getting to some juicy names here now.
Yeah. Oh, just one more, like two details, like before we go. This isn't even like related to like the story.
Well, since you get to talk to this camera.
Okay.
Hey, throw me one of these that are 100%.
I'm just messing if you don't.
So there was the first, just so like we know what was going on in the psyche of like Americans in like the 1940s and 1930s. There was like there wasn't. A bunch of nerds were into like pulp fiction, like sci-fi stories. Like there's an image from like a 1929 episode, or like comic book, like magazine. It's like science fiction stories, and there's a flying saucer on the cover. We'll have Goose put it in post. The image of the
it's right there in the back, right behind
story.
Pallet, right on the tip of my finger.
And I think the first mention of aliens actually like in like literature is, or like in science fiction, is like H.P. Lovecraft. Oh, not H.P. Lovecraft. I'm sorry. H.G. Wells's
From the Earth
a
to
war,
the Moon?
a war of worlds, where it's like Martians have like they come in like cylinders that come to Earth, and they crash land on Earth, and then they turn into like the giant crabs with like the automaton crabs with the death rays that like destroy buildings and stuff and melt people. So that's other than that, there weren't any other.
Well, yeah,
there weren't any other like sci-fi stuff going on, or like UFO stories.
Well, for a reason. So Jacques Vallée comes by and says that aliens have always been in the human zeitgeist. They just go by different names: angels, demons, jinn, like trickster, deities. Those may be real, and those might actually just be aliens.
Yeah, and I think there was like a radio show talked about like they did like an audio book of like they did like they read like the War of the Worlds on like the radio right in the 30s, and it freaked some people out.
That we can talk about that, and maybe wrap at the end we can talk about it. Didn't have it's completely overblown how much it freaked people out. So like people are saying people committed. It never happened.
Yeah,
so,
that didn't happen. But
in 1980, take it, Pallet.
Anyways, back to the story. That's just what was going on in the conscience of people at this time. You know, like this is the only like stuff about flying saucers and like sci-fi. All right. End of tangent.
In 1980, 3 men
Stanton
Friedman.
His picture right here because that guy's a beast.
What are these names? Friedman.
Friedman. Stanton Friedman. Dude, he's the OG UFO. I mean, bless up, Papa.
Dude,
you got to see what this guy looks like. Google an image of this guy.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want to know what an OG UFO researcher looks like,
on my phone.
Yeah. Him and like Jacques Vallée and
Charles Berlitz and William Moore also.
Who's the Mothman dude? Like who wrote the book?
Yeah, that's
John. Is it Keel or something? Or?
Yeah, Keel.
Okay, I might have his first name wrong, but.
Oh my God!
Hold your phone to the camera. Show him. This is what an OG UFO researcher looks like.
He looks exactly how I thought he'd look.
Yep, that's Stanton Friedman.
All right, let's get this going. 1980, 3 men: Stanton Friedman, Charles Berlitz, and William Moore. William Moore is the only normal name I've heard today. Gave it 1. Their book was called The Roswell Incident.
Cover the book right here.
Wait, it's redacted though.
Okay, and now it's going to slowly become unredacted. There you go.
When it was published, Roswell had nearly forgotten, but now it was back, reframed as the ultimate government secret. That is a secret, man. The heart of the book was a testimony from a familiar named Jesse Marcel in the Air Force.
The Air
intelligence officer who handled the debris back in 1947. 30 years later, Marceau told a very different story. The material, he said, wasn't from a weather balloon. It wasn't from Earth at all. It was exotic, unbreakable, marked with strange symbols. The debris he'd posted with 4 cameras in 1947, a decoy, a lie. It was a compelling claim, though one piece of it fell apart quickly. 7 photos were taken at the base that day, and every single one, the debris were the same.
So do you understand what's going on? So 30 years after Roswell is when we get this book, The Roswell Incident, and Jesse Marcel, the guy in the photos, he's now spilling the tea. Like he was given fake debris for the photos. The real debris was immediately taken by the Air Force, and they, changed it to change the narrative.
This is like a decade after.
30 years.
Yeah. Well, this is like a decade after like the Project Blue Book investigation wrapped up that like there were no credible UFO or flying saucer stories or like.
Something like 80% of them were explainable, and then there's a small 20% that isn't.
Right. I'll look up when the Project Blue Book investigation ended.
Right,
you guys can keep reading.
But then the facts were almost besides the point. To strengthen their case, the authors introduced another witness, a civil engineer named Grant Barnett. Already dead by the time the book was written, according to his account, he'd stumbled upon a crash disk in the desert, surrounded by archaeology students from an unnamed Eastern university. Together, they examined the bodies, small, hairless, large heads, eyes too far apart. The book sold widely, and once Roswell re-entered the public imagination, it didn't come back quietly. The story grew and grew and grew. One craft became several. One crash site became many. Bodies multiplied. Survivors appeared. By 1990s, Roswell wasn't just a mystery. It was the centerpiece of the ultimate deep state conspiracy, the kind of story where nothing is accidental.
Episode on deep state coming soon.
No denial is honest, and every shadow hides something watching back. And by the time Hollywood got its hands on it, turning it to the blockbusters where aliens were dissected beneath desert bases, the transformation was complete. Roswell was no longer about what fell from the sky in 1947. It was about what we believed the government was capable of hiding, and whether we'd stopped believing at all by 1990s. Roswell had become impossible to ignore. The story had seeped into everything: movies, late night radio, pop culture jokes, nightmares. By then, Independence Day had aliens.
Hey, that's a documentary, according to, in my opinion.
And underground bases, and the president knew the truth. And enough people believed some version of it that the U.S. government finally stepped in. Not to confirm the story, but to end it. The Clinton administration announced that, yes, there had been a cover-up at Roswell. Just not the one people wanted. What followed came in from of two massive government reports. Long,
exhaustive,
and written with the faint irritation of an authority tired of being questioned. The Air Force's conclusion was simple. Roswell wasn't about extraterrestrials. It was about secrecy, Cold War secrecy. According to the reports, the wreckage on Mac Brazel's ranch wasn't a flying saucer at all. It was the remains of something called Project Mogul, a top-secret Air Force program designed to do one thing above all else. Listen. In the late 1940s, America was desperate to know if the Soviets were testing atomic bombs, and they
definitely were.
And to find out, Mogul sent enormous balloon arrays into the upper atmosphere, fitted with experimental sensors and microphones meant to detect distant nuclear explosions. If that sounds important, it was. The Air Force would later admit that Mogul carried the same top priority designation as the Manhattan Project. New Mexico was the heart of it. That empty desert sky was filled with test flights, balloon trains so large that stretched more than 600 feet long, 30 balloons at a time, sensors dangling beneath them, metal, rubber, foil, wires, more machinery than anyone outside the program had ever seen. And keeping something that big secret was difficult.
Just for people who don't know, Goose, what is the Manhattan Project?
That's when they made the first atomic bomb.
Okay.
That was Oppenheimer. That was all those guys out there in the desert. They built, that city, and they kept it secret because obviously the biggest weapon ever developed had to be a secret. So
was that when the Castle Bravo explosion happened?
That was after the Manhattan was just developing them. Castle Bravo was testing, and Castle Bravo was the first thermonuclear, and it was way bigger than they expected.
I think that was the biggest explosion we've had in America.
American for sure.
Yeah.
Tsar-Bomba is the biggest ever detonated. That was by the Russians. But Castle Bravo they expected it to be, I'll put the real numbers here, but I think they expected like 30 megatons or something like that. And it was closer to like 100 megatons.
Yeah.
How much was like the two bombs from Hiroshima and Nagasaki? What were the mega
Actually,
tonnage?
we should Google that because I'm going to be completely wrong. Google megaton of Nagasaki Hiroshima. I'm going to say it was like 20 or something.
Okay.
They weren't big compared to the thermonuclear stuff they made later. These weren't. I mean, they were huge, but
yeah. Well, what's interesting about like the Roswell,
Fat Man was one of them.
Yeah.
Fat Man and Little Boy. Those are the two names of the bombs.
They were doing atomic bomb testing in New Mexico in I think 1945, and then it's kind of coincidental that Roswell happens like 2 years later, right? It's kind of
they were doing a lot of creepy stuff out in the deserts.
Yeah.
New Mexico and Nevada. Nevada is where most of the bomb, the proving ground, I think they called it, where they tested a lot of the bombs, and then they moved to like the Bahamas for some reason.
And the trope by like ufologists is that like aliens show up when you start doing nuclear testing because it's like a big like catalyst change for your civilization, right? According to like UFO peeps.
How big are they?
Okay, so oh my god. Okay, Nagasaki was 0.015 megatons. For Hiroshima, it was 0.021 megatons.
Okay, now look up how big Castle Bravo was. Put how many megatons Castle Bravo.
Was Castle Bravo in Nevada?
No, that was out.
That was later.
No, it was out in the ocean. They actually had people sit and watch it.
Yeah, that's a very bad idea.
Yeah, they all got cancer.
They didn't even give them goggles, I don't think.
15 megatons.
15 megatons. Now look up Tsar-Bomba. Tsarbomba.
I know how to spell SAR.
I forgot you were half Russian.
50 megatons.
50 megatons, dude. That is crazy.
Look at this explosion, too. God damn. Holy shit.
That's a hydrogen bomb,
Let's
though.
see.
A hydrogen bomb's way bigger than an atomic bomb.
No, a thermonuclear, I think, is different than a hydrogen or atomic.
Well, a thermo's later. I think that's
it has a-
after hydrogen bomb.
So Nagasaki and so Fat Man and Little Boy are the first two.
Yeah.
And then Castle Bravo is the one in 51. Also in 51 is also Sarbama. That is scary.
Imagine seeing a mushroom cloud this big.
That thing goes out into space, it looks like.
Yeah.
You could see that from another country.
I'm sure. Yeah, because
Cool.
look at the Great Pyramids. down there.
200,000 feet, so higher than any plane can go.
Castle Bravo is still huge as hell.
Heck, all of them are. I wouldn't want to be near any single one of those.
I want to see what Castle Bravo looks like. I just got to see it.
Okay, we'll play a little footage of it. We'll be right back.
It's just a castle that Johnny Bravo lives in.
They just recently released new footage of nuclear testing that's been upscaled to HD.
Holy shit. Poor beach.
Yep, that's Castle Bravo. And they bombed people without their consent, the locals.
Oh, is that when they were going to the island saying, hey, can we
When was the
test
Bikini
it?
Atoll?
Bikini Atolls, that's
okay,
it.
all right.
Yeah, they were like, they went to the tribe people. They're like, hey, can we use your island, please?
And they said no, and they did it anyway.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
people all got sick.
Look at how nice those palm trees are, too. That looks
I
beautiful.
think they gave all the natives there. They gave them like citizenship in like the U.S. because they couldn't go back. They couldn't live on the island anymore because it was completely like just poisoned by radiation.
Bikini Atoll is completely off limits now, right?
No, I'm sure there's, you know what? I don't want to speak out of term. Type down in the comments below if you'd like us to talk about the U.S. nuclear program. We could do a whole episode on that. We could probably do 3 whole episodes on
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty big.
All right. Well, we best get back
Back,
onto this
yeah.
because we are at an hour already. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Nice big fat one. We had 2 kind of short ones back to back. We're going to give you guys a nice big fat one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So where was I? Because it wasn't a weather balloon. It was something far stranger. A single mogul array could be taller than the Washington Monument, huh? When one prototype came down early, a B-17 bomber circled low over nearby oil workers, buzzing them until they backed away. The plane stayed there, circling until military personnel arrived to secure the site. Most flights behaved as expected. Launch, drift, crash, recover. But one didn't. On June 4th, 1947, NYU Flight Number 4 was launched from Alamogordo Army Airfield. Wow, that's rude. Tracking teams followed it as drifted it northeastern, and then they lost it. Its last known position was less than 15 miles away from Mac Brazel's ranch, where days later he found, and that the Air Force said was Roswell. They argued it wasn't surprising that Brazil didn't recognize it, or that Jesse Marcel didn't, or that the officers at the Roswell Army Airfield were confused.
So what happened was one of their mogul balloon arrays crashed at Roswell, and then that the people who saw it wouldn't have known what it was because that program was so secretive that they didn't even let them know. So okay, that's where we're at. Okay.
And the mogul balloons were like these huge like strings of balloons that were used to like test for like Soviet like atomic like bomb testing and stuff.
So okay,
all over, they put them all over everywhere.
Because it wasn't a weather balloon. It was something far stranger. A single mogul array could be taller than the Washington Monument. When it came down, it didn't crash neatly. It exploded across the landscape, leaving a debris field filled with unfamiliar materials, twisted components, and experimental devices no civilian had ever seen. By the time Mogul was declassified decades later, it barely mattered. The program itself had gone nowhere. The balloons were too big, too obvious. There were easier ways to detect atomic tests. Radioactive sampling, seismic monitoring. And in 1949, the Soviets finally tested their first atomic bomb. The evidence came not from balloons, but from Air Force planes flying through radioactive clouds. President Truman announced it to the world. Mogul quietly faded away. According to the Air Force, the secrecy surrounding Roswell, the armed response, and the sudden reversals. The silence was simply the result of how tightly compartmentalized a project had been. No one at Roswell could explain it. They weren't allowed to. Even at the strangest details had explanations.
Yeah.
Those symbols people remembered described as hieroglyphs, the pink-purple markings, not alien writing, the report said, just tape. Because of the post-war shortages, the contractor who made the balloon targets also made toys, and some of the tape used to seal the seams came from that same supply decorated with flowers and geometric shapes meant for children. Absurd? Yes.
But memorable. I'll let you in with but memorable.
Yeah, so there's supposed to be like a giant tower. Think of like the Mogul like balloons as like a giant series of like weather balloons with like radio equipment and like equipment for like measuring like atomic like probably with like a Geiger counter on it or something or whatever else is on there.
What's crazy though is when they showed the debris wreckage, there were no machines or anything. It was just the foil and the sticks
and like balsa wood and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but okay, well,
it's kind of hard to confuse. Like, who's gonna be so dumb to confuse that for like an actual like
UFO.
like UFO with like something that's from another world that like freaks you out, you know?
Yes.
Has high strangeness.
So the witnesses, they came back 30 years later to say what you saw that day wasn't the real debris and that it was a craft and bodies. That's why the story gets so muddy. But we'll let you pick up right here at the right here. You're gonna be right here at it was kind of a standing joke.
Yeah, it was kind of a standing joke. One project worker recalled years later, a joke? That explanation, the government said, was the truth. And if you believe it, Roswell becomes nothing more than a tragic misunderstanding, a perfect storm of secrecy, timing, and human imagination. And because the Clinton administration investigated this in the 90s, right? And they just said that like it was Project Mogul, right?
They didn't investigate. They just finally released it because the story picked up so much steam by like 1990.
Yeah.
That people were submitting FOIAs, people were bugging senators, and so the Clinton administration was like, okay, we got to put something out. And so they put out Mogul, but they also backtracked later. I don't know if his script gets into it. Then they said it was Project High Jump. Or not High Jump. Well, something else. But anyway, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so the first rebuttal was that it was just a weather balloon dummies. It wasn't like an aircraft. And then like later in the 90s, it came out, well, it wasn't just one or two weather balloons. It was a whole like a bunch of towers of weather balloons and radio equipment and Geiger counters, dummies. It wasn't a flying saucer. So that was like their second like debunking right in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Not a story about aliens, but about how power explains itself and asks you to trust it and don't trust it. And then there were the bodies. And so that I don't know, that's okay, well, let me go off on a tangent. Let me keep reading this. That was always the hardest part of the Roswell story to explain away. The whispers passed down through families, repeated to writers like Berlitz and more, stories of locals who claimed they'd seen the military pulling small bodies from the desert. So yeah, there was no talk of bodies from the original report.
From the initial. Yeah. That's why all of this comes decades later when they revisited the case.
Yeah. Loading them onto trucks, carrying them away in boxes. For years, the details sat there unanswered. There's a couple bugaboos about the Roswell thing that we'll talk about later.
Yeah,
but,
we'll wrap it up with our opinions.
Until the Air Force tried to close the book in another thick report, 230 pages long and written with the same tired frustration and redundancy that the government reports often explain. The title said it all. The Roswell Report, case closed.
Picture of that here?
It was a weather balloon, dummies.
Yeah, it was swamp gas and weather balloons.
You're an idiot. Go back to your regular lives. And, according to the Air Force, what people remembered as alien bodies weren't aliens at all. They were dummies, human-shaped test dummies, like the crash test dummies from those 90s, those awesome 90s commercials.
I'm going to throw one wrench in the spoke of this story's gears. Project Mogul happened in like 1953.
Yeah.
Years after Roswell. But hey, we'll see if Pallet mentions it.
But it's feasible that they were doing it earlier, right? It's,
We'll see.
Yeah. In the late 1940s and 1950s, the military had been quietly conducting a series of classified experiments in the New Mexico desert. Officially, they were called high-altitude aircraft escape projects. What they really were practice runs for disaster. If a pilot was forced to eject at, is this like the pilots in the U-2s? Did they have U-2s at this point, or are these
They
U-2
were
later?
definitely building U-2s
Okay.
at this point.
The date of when I'm giving you so much work, dude. But
So yeah, I got a week.
Look up the date of like when the U2 jet came out at extreme. Not talking about the band. At extreme
In the name of love.
At extreme altitude, or someday, if an astronaut had to come back to Earth, someone needed to know what would happen to the human body. So the military built stand-ins. They dropped them, hundreds of them. The operation had names: High Dive and Excelsior.
1955 was the first manufacturing of a U-2.
Okay.
Last one manufactured in 1989, and they built 104 of them. By the way, one of my favorite planes for a long time. I'm a big plane and jet nerd. I've just last few years.
Mine's a
kinda gotten out of
Blackbird,
that.
but and probably the B2.
Blackbird's
But
cool.
where was it in Palmdale? Where did like Lockheed make it? Where did the U2 come from? Like what? Like
The Lockheed Skunk Works.
okay, so it's in Palmdale.
Yeah.
Okay. One dummy in particular became famous among engineers. They called him Sierra Sam. He stood about 6 feet tall, weighed around 200 pounds, and from a distance, he looked unsettlingly human. Okay. But who's going to confuse like a mannequin, a store mannequin, for a frickin' ET? You know, an ET being
because what happened was when these things hit the ground, they exploded into small chunks.
Yeah.
Is what the government would tell you is that the reason they look small is because they were in chunks.
But it's not going to look like roadkill on the side of the like a run over deer that has like body parts everywhere, and like you could tell is was an actual animal, not like it's not a busted store mannequin. Anyways, I'll continue. In 1953 alone, the Air Force dropped 30 of these figures into the desert east of Roswell. Some fell from balloons floating nearly 98,000 feet above the ground.
Holy.
That is high. They free fell for minutes before a parachute deployed if everything worked. Sometimes it didn't. The Air Force later admitted it could trace at least 7 dummy landings to the same areas witnesses had described as alien crash sites. And the recovery operations, they would have looked alarmingly to anyone who stumbled upon them. As soon as dummies hit the ground, 8 to 12 military and civilian personnel rushed in trucks, wreckers, 6x6s, weapon carriers, observation planes, transport aircraft. The exact vehicles witnessed had described.
So we're going from weather balloons from Project Mogul to
a
now,
lot of weather balloons.
And now they're pivoting to, well, it wasn't just for sensing Soviets. It was for dropping test dummies.
Yeah.
So that's why this case gets so muddy, because the people are reporting the thing they're seeing, the government's agreeing with them, then disagreeing with them, then going silent, then releasing a new story, then changing that story and releasing another story. That's where we're at this story so far. So it wasn't weather balloons. It was for tracking Soviets.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for tracking Soviets. It was for testing people ejecting out of high-altitude planes.
Yeah.
So
well, they even like during like after World War I, they were doing like high altitude like tests to see like how high up pilots could fly before they get like they lose consciousness and stuff.
Have you seen the video of the guy?
And then
who
very dangerous, very dangerous.
Have you watched the videos of the guy who strapped himself to a sled that was powered by rocket engines and then stopped immediately? He lived. What's his name? We won't tangent, but anyways, they were doing crazy tests.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe that they probably were testing this high altitude stuff, but is it why people thought they saw aliens and UFOs?
Yeah, but they knew about altitude sickness
7
before this even happened, right? Like,
of course,
yeah.
But the planes, but what was happening around this era was our airplanes were going from 10 to 20,000 feet. Now their reach was getting 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000. Now we're talking
commercial, like where commercial jetliners go.
Yeah, higher, 70,000 feet is, I mean, barely in the atmosphere. You can't breathe or function up there. It's freezing.
Yeah.
So our reach from ground level to space was just expanding. And so, of course, they'd be doing wild tests. But does that explain Roswell?
You got to have like oxygen and like a flight suit and like, heated jacket and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right.
The dummies themselves were hauled away in wooden crates or sealed in black or silver insulation bags, which looked to a passerby exactly like body bags. Sometimes the dummies weren't found right away. Sometimes they were damaged. Missing fingers, cracked faces, torn limbs. One was lost in the desert for 3 years before anyone
How cool
located
if you were
it.
walking through the desert and you just found a dummy dropped from space.
And so the Air Force argued it was entirely possible. Can we put up a picture of what the dummies look like on the okay.
Right there.
It was entirely possible, reasonable,
Look at
even
that little guy. Wow. Check him out.
He's right next to a watermelon too.
that someone might stumble across one and believe they'd found something not quite human. Dummies with missing fingers, the report noted dryly, appeared to satisfy another element
dummies,
of the research profile. Aliens with only 4 fingers. Page after page, the report dissected witness testimony, not to accuse anyone of lying, but to suggest something quieter, that they were right. They had seen something strange. Just not what they thought it was. Well, maybe if they would just release this information instead of lying about it year after year and gaslighting people, there wouldn't be so much like
confusion
and distrust and like,
and
resentment.
The thing is, they're testing high altitude dummies. It's not like that if the Russians got this information during the Cold War.
Oh no,
it would change much. What are they doing to monks?
Yeah, they tested on monkeys.
That's why monkeys back with a vengeance.
Yeah. I think the Soviets sent a chimp. Were the first country to send a chimp into space. We won't get into that. Time the Air Force said did the rest. Memories blur, dates slide. What someone saw in 1949 or 1953 could easily be remembered decades later as happening in 1947.
See, the timeline doesn't. That's what I'm saying. The timeline doesn't match up. These tests were after 1947, but the thing is, if they were misremembering this as 1947 instead of 1949. Then why did the newspaper come out in 1947? You see what I'm saying? That's why it's a whole basket of confusion on all sides. That's why the story's a lot more interesting than did we catch a UFO?
Yeah.
It kind of goes into the zeitgeist. It goes into memory. It goes into secret government programs. It goes into some people pulling absolute bullshito just to make money. Like there's a whole weaving web here.
And remember, it wasn't just like some low IQ farmer that said I saw a big bright metal thing in the sky. I really did. It was the Army Air Force came out and said they had a flying saucer.
Good farmer voice.
Yeah.
We're getting so worked up. I think you need to hit us with an air horn real quick, Will.
Okay,
bring the temperature.
I forgot
down.
about the air horn. Right.
Not into the mic, just straight that way.
Oh,
holy shit!
So
that was so
That's so
loud.
much loud. Okay.
Right.
That's so
My
much.
My ears
louder.
are actually ringing right now.
That's so much louder than I thought. I love it here.
All right. Do you want me to conclude this?
This is probably a 2-parter. How many pages we got left?
We got like 5.
Merry Christmas! Ho ho ho! That's the perfect amount of air horn.
The perfect amount of air horn.
I'm so mad that the studio's covered in confetti, but also that looked so epic.
Can I conclude this?
No, let him finish reading it, and then
let me finish the page, and then
I'll do it, and then we've got enough. You can take us home.
When all was said and done, the official record amounted to just 41 documents tied to the incident, 7 marked top secret, 31 secret, 31 secret. Okay.
Yeah. So top secret, and then 31 were just secret.
How much was redacted? Was there any?
I don't know. We'll read.
Okay.
I think so.
A handful more confidential or restricted, written long before the Freedom of Information Act, written by people who never imagined the public would read their words. They came from across the intelligence world, the military, the FBI, the CIA. The OSS might have been around during 1947. I don't think the CIA was around yet.
Well,
they were still the OSS, I think.
Yeah.
And according to those documents, nothing extraterrestrial was ever recovered in the New Mexican desert. As one skeptical research...
1947, right after Roswell, is when the CIA started.
Right.
Literally, like, months after
the coincidences are piling up, man. The
months
coincidences
after.
are piling up.
We onto you, fools.
The UFOs, the CIA, and like nuclear testing is all going around like about the same time. As one skeptical researcher put it, the Michael Shermerites, it was a weather balloon dummy. These were professionals at the highest levels of American intelligence, people tasked with solving the flying saucer mystery, speaking freely because they believed no outsider would ever hear them, and not one of them recorded evidence of alien craft. Not one. And yet, people still swear they saw something out there in that desert. Something small, something broken, something carried away before anyone could ask any questions.
Let's do a clip or two real quick.
Smells like gaslighting.
We're on the back side now.
Okay.
We've only got a couple more pages.
I'm at the pee real quick.
Okay. You can do that. Let's watch one. Scroll up my clips real quick, and we'll watch one, and then we'll take a piddle break.
All right.
We got a nice long one for you today,
Yeah, hey,
y'all.
hey.
That one's funny.
This one?
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to have a double header, folks, you know. Nice.
All right, next one. That one's perfect. It's just short and sweet.
Wait, what did I send?
Got a Wayback Machine. You got a that's from weeks ago. And go up past the seal. That one is pretty good.
Which one?
But they're both pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Whoa. Okay.
This wheel just fell off.
It's gonna be JCB with his new e-bike.
And then that's the meat of it. You can go next.
Needs a ratchet set and a helmet for Christmas.
And then do the one above it, and then we'll look at one of Will's, and then you go paddle.
Just when I thought my day couldn't get worse, I opened the door and remembered. These eggs been cooking for an hour. Y'all, the water is gone.
Oh, no. I'm glad you didn't get burned.
She's got a couple little burns. Watch, here's the best part.
My Uber comes in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm taking you to the hospital.
All right.
All right, we'll have you take him to urgent care.
All right, take a piddle. We'll be right back.
Okay.
We're back, guys.
All right, I'm taking it from here. We're on the home stretch, which leaves Roswell where it's always been. Balance between explanation and belief, between what we're told and what we remember. By the time the debunkings arrived, it was already too late. The explanations were thorough, documented, exhausting, and they barely mattered because belief had taken hold. Roswell no longer belonged to history. It belonged to the imagination. Around the world, the name became shorthand for aliens, cover-ups, and secrets hidden in plain sight. Whether anything extraordinary had ever happened there almost didn't matter anymore. The story was better than the truth. At the city's own 50th anniversary celebration, one man said the quiet part out loud. UFO prankster James Mosley looked around at the crowds, the costumes, the souvenirs, and laughed. It's the greatest celebration of a non-event I've ever experienced. And yet, even as the Roswell conspiracies grew more elaborate, more bodies, more craft, deeper secrets, they all shared the same blind spot.
I would ask James Mosley to meet me in the McDonald's Roswell parking lot. Yeah.
Catch these
for
hands.
you know.
I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that 10-piece chicken nugget with these hands.
Yeah, man.
They never grappled with what may be the single most revealing moment in the history of extraterrestrial thought. A conversation that proves nothing happened. The moment took place in the summer of 1950. Four men were walking to lunch at Los Alamos National Laboratory. No microphones, no reporters, just scientists cutting across the desert heat. One of them was Enrico Fermi. Fermi Paradox episode here.
He's our boy.
Another was Edward Teller. Together, they helped unlock the atomic age. And around them were Emil Konopsky, I butchered that, and Herbert York.
Hey, Chris.
Minds sharp enough to shape the future of physics itself. These were men who dealt in reality stripped bare. Numbers, limits, consequences. They were in New Mexico preparing for nuclear tests in the Pacific, steps on the road to the hydrogen bomb. But that day, their attention drifted to something smaller, a cartoon. Konopsky had seen in the New Yorker it showing flying saucer landing on a distant planet. Aliens filed out, arms full of souvenirs stolen from Earth. Trash cans, New York City trash cans. The joke was harmless, yet absurd. And none of the men believed, even for a moment, that aliens were actually visiting Earth. As physicists, they knew what interstellar travel required. Energies so vast, distances so unforgiving, that the idea bordered on fantasy. Still, curiosity has a way of creeping in. As they walked, Fermi turned to Teller. "Edward," he asked casually, "what do you think? How possible is it that within the next 10 years we'll have clear evidence of a material object moving faster than light?" Teller thought for a moment. Then he answered, 1 in a million? 10 to the 6th? Scientists speak for don't bet on it.
I don't understand exponents, so yeah.
Yeah, 10 to the 6th is a big number.
Yeah.
Fermi stopped walking. That's much too low, he said. The probability is more like 10%. To Fermi, 10% was a miracle. No one argued. The question was settled. They went back to talking about lunch. And that quiet exchange between men who knew exactly how the universe worked cast a long shadow over Roswell. Because if alien craft had truly crossed the stars, crashed in the desert, and been hauled away by trucks in 1947, then someone like Fermi would have felt it in the numbers. He didn't. And so Roswell remains what it always has been, a story that refuses to die, a mystery built as much from distrust as debris, a reminder that once belief takes hold, even the truth can't compete with a good fireside tale. Especially one told under a sky full of stars, the question wouldn't let go. If life was so common, if the universe was so old and vast, then where was everybody? That puzzle would come to be known as the Fermi Paradox.
Oh, thank God I learned about that on the Fatal Lunch podcast.
Yep, Fermi Paradox episode linked in the doobly-doo.
And if you don't know what the Fermi Paradox is, you know what you should do? Go watch it right now.
Well,
come back and watch this episode.
Well, it's still funny to watch, just in case you already know it. You want to laugh, right? You want to laugh while learning about this? That's why I watch every episode of the FLP. I get a humor while learning.
We learned about dangerous plants. We've learned about the Champawat tiger. I mean, we've learned so much. Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses. Comment, like, subscribe. Come join us. Come join us on this ride through the beautiful Fatal Lunch podcast. And it still hangs over every conversation about UFOs like a loud cloud. While interstellar travel is simply too hard, too slow, too dangerous, was Earth unremarkable, not worth the trip? Or was the truth far colder than that? Later that day in 1950, at lunch in Fuller Lodge at Los Alamos, the conversation drifted again. Plates clinked, voices overlapped, and then, without a warning, Enrico Fermi spoke up. Where is everybody? The table erupted in laughter. It wasn't confusion, it was recognition. Everyone there instantly knew what he meant. Not people, not colleagues, aliens.
I gotta get a Los Alamos hoodie,
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to visit. Yeah. I wonder if you can visit. You want to take us home with these last 2 pages, Pallet?
Yes, I do.
We're almost done. Last 2 pages, and now presenting Pallet not only in 4K, but in Get Low mode.
Yeah, guys.
We got Pallet in Get Low mode.
He's not even on the screen, he's so low.
All right. Edward Teller would later recall that the question landed perfectly, even though it came from the clear blue. For a few minutes, the group entertained the idea maybe intelligent life was out there, but far away. Maybe our corner of the galaxy was quiet. Backwater, the cosmic equivalent of living out in the sticks, far from the bright lights of the galactic city. Then the conversation moved on. But that moment matters, because what Fermi and Teller were doing that summer, openly wondering why aliens had never visited Earth, tells us something profound. They didn't know about Roswell. No crash, no bodies, no recovered technology. And if anyone would have known, it would have been them. To understand why, you have to understand how secrecy worked in the years after World War II. One of the most persistent Roswell myths is that a crashed alien craft would have been sent to
Wright-Patterson, I said.
Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, where the military analyzed captured enemy aircraft. But that base in 1947 wasn't nearly secret enough, nor would the craft have gone to Area 51, because Area 51 didn't exist yet. Oh, Area 51's new.
Newish.
When did, 60s?
Yeah, you just keep reading, it'll tell you.
Yeah.
That facility wouldn't have been carved out of the Nevada desert till 1955. I was close.
Yeah. B2 came out of Area 51, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If something truly extraordinary had crashed near Roswell in 1947, something not made on Earth, it almost certainly would have been taken just for a few hours north to Los Alamos.
So yeah, the people at Los Alamos definitely would have known about that craft, because it would have been taken right to their doorsteps.
Last
shoved right up their beeholes.
Yep.
Last section, guys.
And Bob Lazar wasn't there to to he didn't come around until the 80s,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
The closed city in the desert, the place that didn't exist on maps, the place where the government gathered its sharpest minds and hid most of its dangerous secrets. Nuclear weapons, new physics, the future itself. Los Alamos already had the fences, the guards, the silence, and already had the people. If the government had recovered an alien spacecraft, no matter how tightly you imagine it, the circle of secrecy, those names keep coming up. Fermi, Teller, the men already trusted with the unimaginable. Draw the circle wide, 100 experts. Draw it narrow, 25. Draw it razor thin, 10. It's almost impossible to believe those two wouldn't be inside it. And yet 3 years after Roswell, they were walking across the desert, asking, half joking, half haunted, where is everybody? To me, that silence is louder than any witness testimony, because if something truly extraordinary had fallen out of the sky in July of 1947, the people who understood the universe best would not have been wondering whether aliens had ever come here. They would have known, and the fact that they didn't may be the most unsettling answer of all. Sometimes the scariest mystery isn't what we're hiding. It's what never happened at all.
Roswell. Thank you, producer Pallet. Next week, we've got cemeteries with Will, unless we've got something else. But
all right, time to get back in my seat.
I probably should have hit that confetti at the end of it. So what do you, when you compose yourself, we're going to give you first because you did this. What do you think about Roswell? Do you think it happened? Was it aliens? Was it balloons? Was it Soviet nuclear testing? Was it high jump?
No, Roswell didn't happen. That's my thing. I think it was military testing, personally.
What about you, Will? What were your sliders?
So something definitely went down there, and the government definitely covered it up. And I don't believe they're like, it was a series of balloons, and it was one single balloon, and it was a series of balloons, and it was like dummies falling from the sky. I don't know if like you've mentioned earlier, so much has been layered on top of like Roswell. It's hard to like get at the kernels of truth from the chaff, right? But
yeah,
I'm fascinated with the Roswell story. I'm kind of agnostic about it. I don't know if the government retrieved bodies in a craft, but something definitely bizarre happened there, and the government definitely tried to cover it up. There's two whammies about Roswell that kind of another problem is I just want to believe that it really happened. I want there to be like a badass story about like a nurse was operating with a doctor in the middle of the night on like these like alien cadavers, and she was getting like ET blood all over her dress, and then like she was like chain smoking cigarettes at like a diner in the morning, and she was like PTSD'd out. And like CIA goons showed up and like threatened her to stay quiet. And I just want to believe there's all this like there's this like crazy like alien story that happened in Roswell. So I want to believe it really bad, but there's two pretty big whammies and two bugaboos about Roswell. And the first one is that like we didn't mention this, but in 1950s, there was a like sci-fi story. I think it's called like Behind the Flying Saucers or something. And like in that story, there's a lot of themes that like mirror Roswell. Like one is like there's a government cover up. Another one is that like they found alien bodies. And another one is that like people were threatened to stay quiet, or like they would be, bad things would happen to them. And it follows like half a dozen things that happened in like Roswell. So that kind of throws.
Well. So what you're talking about?
We'll show that it's called like Behind the Flying Saucers. I can't remember when it came out.
It's more interesting that though, because Roswell happens, it goes silent.
Yeah.
That book comes out, and then years later, people start telling the truth about Roswell.
Yeah.
They might have gotten inspiration from that book.
Yeah.
And injected it into their stories of what happened decades earlier. So
yeah,
that makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
That's what the skeptics are saying, is that like there's been 30 years of like before Roswell, we start digging into Roswell, like people's imaginations have been like shaped by 30 years of like alien stories and stuff and like UFO stories, and so that's why we can't trust it.
But do you understand now, Pallet, why this is such an important story in the alien UFO sphere? Because it's sort of the one that not only brought forward the idea of crashed UFOs, but also brought forward the idea that the government's hiding these things. And that's sort of the biggest thread that connects all the stories in ufology, is that they're here, they're everywhere, we're seeing them, they're landing, they're flying, they're crashing, but the government doesn't want you to find out about it because they want the technology to build an instant vehicle to deliver thermonuclear devices around the world at the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
I'm just putting this out there. It was not me.
Kenneth.
Yeah.
Wait, what year was Kenneth Copeland born?
Oh, look that up.
I promise it wasn't me.
I don't think he's even he might be older than a boomer. I think he was born in like the 30s.
We're looking it up right now.
Yeah, you look it up. But I think I'm more on the team like the alien phenomena is more supernatural or
1936.
It wasn't me, guys, I promise.
So he would have been 11 years old when Roswell happened. So it was definitely Copeland.
Yeah.
No.
Some little 11-year-old out there.
All right, watch out. Your next show, something's going to happen.
No, okay, Copeland, we're joking. We're going to triple our donations.
Yeah, keep it that way.
I have one more whammy, or there's a couple. I'll just do one more whammy with Roswell, and that like, so they said like the metal that they recovered from the crash site was like you couldn't cut it. It was super light and durable. You couldn't damage it or anything. How is like an ET spacecraft that can like travel across galaxies, right? And like can handle like solar radiation and like, you know, like dodge like asteroids and stuff. How does it like come to Earth and then it gets hit by a lightning strike, it gets damaged and then crashes in New Mexico, you know?
Well,
like how does that happen, right?
So the theory about UFOs crashing.
Because there's supposed to be a lightning storm the night of like of the crash. I mean, that kind of could have been added later or whatever.
Well,
but
yeah. So the theory with that is, and this has been in a couple of UFO books, the UFO, the vehicle itself has different modes. They've got like traversing the Earth mode where they're in sort of a low energy state. They don't really have their force field and they can fly around at visible speeds. Then they have the sport mode where they can traverse at incredible speeds. And then they have sort of an like kinetic energy barrier that they can, nothing can damage them. And so the thought is when they're kind of in their cruising mode, that's when they're the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And nowadays they say psionics is what brings them down. So psychic thought.
Okay.
Some sort of psychic weapon.
But
that's all, that could absolutely all be BS tied.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing about this UFO thing. There's no concrete evidence that's not behind some sort of secondhand party who witnessed something from somebody who said something. You know what I mean? And any metamaterials that have been brought forward, there's some weird ones. They have a chunk of metal that's like iron and bismuth and iron layered in a way that they couldn't make it back in that day. But also the chain of custody is shaky. So who knows?
Yeah.
Roswell is one of those stories that we'll never know the actual truth. We have what they say, we have what they say, and the truth is somewhere on the spectrum.
Unless there's like actual, you know, disclosure, which that's not going so hot right now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Age of Disclosure, shout out. That movie just came out. You should watch it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Basically, the new movement for ufology isn't let's disclose this information right now. We need to know. It's give the people who have these materials and these crafts and these bodies, give them all legal amnesty, and then let us know what you have.
Yeah.
Because it's incentive for these people to release the information, essentially.
Yeah. Because George Knapp, because I've heard like ufologists talk about like how we get alien craft is that they don't crash, but that they're left
gifted.
They're left as gifts at like archaeological sites and stuff, and like.
But there's definitely been reported crafts it's crashing too. So
supposedly like the Germans had like a UFO that they recovered from like an archaeological site.
Die Glocken.
Yeah, and then we got a hold of it after World War II.
You mean Die Glocke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people say it was made by the Germans. Some people say it was a recovered UFO. But we don't even have to. What's our time?
That's all I got on the subject.
We're an hour 46.
I don't know if you want to say anything else, Goose.
Yes, I'm going to sum up my idea of Roswell. I think something happened. Something fell from the sky, definitely. We'll never know what it was. Was it a balloon? Was it, test dummies? Was it an alien craft? That story got swept up and covered up so quickly. And the fact that the witnesses came out years and years later to write this tell-all book, some of the witnesses' memories won't be reliable at that point. Some of them had passed away. Some may have been coerced to make the story more interesting. It's a tough one to believe. I kind of don't think it was aliens. I think it was if something even actually happened, that it was some government thing.
I'm kind of
it doesn't mean it takes away credibility of any sort of UFO or alien experience that had happened.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of coincidences, a lot of gaps in knowledge that tough to believe but what it does do, it served as a great, as it said in there, motivation for people to start looking more into the government and their meddlings and what they're doing. Because what if UFOs have been around since the 40s, but it turns out it's American manufactured vehicles and we've cracked these technologies, but we're just not releasing it to the public, and that the U.S. government is just meddling trillions of dollars of taxpayer money without accountability. Because when you work with that amount of money, it's not going to be all honestly spent. These contractors are going to be pocketing huge sums of money.
Of course, and that's going on today,
Exactly, yeah. and that the oversight, the overarching theme is, okay, disclosure is awesome, but really, it's oversight. Why am I working 60, 80 hours pay period? They're taking so much in taxes. My infrastructure is crumbling. Food prices are surging, and these dorks are out there playing with laser beams and UFOs and having the time of their life and getting rich. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it serves more of that, and I think it put that back into sort of the zeitgeist and has been slowly moving forward, especially around 94. You had the original World Trade bombing, you had Waco, you had Ruby Ridge, you had a lot of these things that made people start really questioning.
Oklahoma City bombing.
That made people start really questioning. If you want to dig into Oklahoma City bombing, that one is, it's a lot more interesting.
That's for another episode.
Yes, but so I don't know. Maybe I think Roswell serves as more of an entry point to ufology for people who are interested. But it serves more of what are they really doing? You know what I mean? They're going around blowing up nukes on our planet that we share, and we gave them no consent to do that. And we're sticking fissile material into the atmosphere, giving people cancer. There needs the people. We are the government. Pump the brakes, man. Some of this stuff, stop. They just bombed Nigeria on Christmas. What is going on?
And Sudan.
No, Sudan is what I meant.
Yeah.
But what we need is to have more power and be like, dude, don't do that. Most of us don't want to listen. All those countries that are at war that we attack, those Venezuelan boats, most Americans don't want that to happen. Just know that if you ever see this. But
holding our leaders accountable and having a transparent government.
Exactly.
What a concept, right?
I know.
Exactly. I got one thing to say to the audience.
It's about right.
Yeah, I think I am team most of the ET phenomena is interdimensional, or it's supernatural, or it's I'm more team that than we have actual physical off-world craft and biologics from another part of the cosmos.
Yeah, I think it could be a combination of it all.
It could be.
Pallet, pull up the wheel, spin your next topic.
Yeah, let's spin my next topic.
And we're gonna get out of here with the Suno. Thank you so much for watching. You heard the rantings and ravings of us. You heard the story. If you've made it to the end, please comment, like, and subscribe.
Where's the wheel of topics?
Helps us out, folks.
You're gonna have to open a new page, and it should be saved.
Even if you just want to say something like I clapped them alien cheeks or something stupid.
Just throw a comment down. It helps immensely. Even if you just I clapped them alien cheeks, or
or
Taylor Swift is an alien.
Yeah, perfect. Hillary's a reptilian. Just funny comments, interesting comments, whatever you want to say. It helps out our channel, so.
Yeah, and we're having fun doing this.
I have 3 weeks to do this.
Yeah, if you like the content that we do, and we need your support and you want us to do more of it, so, you can subscribe, add a couple comments, tell your friends about us.
But yeah, spread the word. Fatal Lunch Podcast. And we'll be back with the wheel. If you feel, I will give you a mulligan if you want to spin again, because this one is a little heavy and a little confusing.
Okay, yeah, I want to kind of spin again.
Yeah, we'll let you spin
you can spin a couple times. We don't want you doing a topic that you absolutely hate or I'm not interested in.
Let's see.
You already did Roswell.
If I get aliens again, I'm gonna do the fucking frogs.
Frogs, all right. Now we're talking.
The water's turning the frogs gay.
I don't want to put chemicals in the water.
All right, so next topic. Any angle you want to handle frogs, that's your topic. And
atrazine frogs, baby.
The water are turning the frogs gay.
And
that's what I'm doing.
Next one for Will is cemeteries.
Yeah.
So have you worked on that at all?
I'll get a crack-a-lackin' on it. I did some stuff on Roswell, but
you got a week.
Yeah, so I'll crack-a-lackin'
on my topic.
Well, no, just to help you out. Just
I'm
supplement.
fucking around.
Supplement, baby. Just supplement.
All right, let's hit a Suno, and we will kiss you all.
Yeah,
Do you guys have any ideas for cemeteries? Like, do you want like just the history of cemeteries, or
No,
like
but you do.
a spooky cemetery that you want me to talk about? Or
That's not a bad idea to highlight some of the scary cemeteries, or you could even say like go to the origin of when we started burying people.
Yeah,
you know, you could tie.
That's gonna go back to like Neanderthals and like Cro-Magnon and stuff.
So, but yeah.
All right, so next week's cemeteries.
What style of music do we want to do today?
What's good for like what's good Roswell music?
Let's do like what genre is like Fortunate Son? Let's do that kind of rock.
That's Vietnam.
Like American
rock.
They call it AOR, American Original Rock.
American Original Rock. Let's do that.
Okay.
Because I don't know, it kind of reminds me of this.
We should do maybe whatever Pallet wants to do.
How about this?
We should do something 40s that would like go along with Roswell.
Let's Google what music was popular in 47.
Maybe it was like blues rock and like big band stuff. I think was what was popular in the 40s. And like Billie Holiday and like Ella Fitzgerald and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Man, that was a good one. We really it didn't seem to slow down, which is good.
Yeah.
We'll have probably about 15 or 20 minutes cut out.
I got a little tired about like I would say minute 80, but then I got my second win. So
Swing was really
I
don't know, man. I can't sit in this chair for like another second, dude.
We'll get you a more comfortable chair for next week.
It's not the chair itself. It's just like sitting here, because I have to move for after a little bit.
Maybe you can like stand up and stuff. But okay, I'm gonna start off with the lyrics. No, Pallet, you take the first lyrics because this was your topic. I'll let you. You'll hear the indicator when you're ready to speak.
Are we doing another song?
Yeah, we always finish sooner, baby.
Kenneth Copeland was riding his private jet, which is shaped like a UFO, but it was poorly built, so a bunch of debris fell, and he had to find a way out. That
debris was later found in a field near Roswell. People speculated that it was aliens, but it was really a megachurch pastor flushing tinfoil down the toilet.
Yo, my brain is cooked talking about that Project Blue book. I'm going to have to take a stroll down to the McDonald's in Roswell and get myself a tasty treat. If Michael Shermer is in the parking lot talking mad shit about ufologists, I may just have to throw some hands.
They were doing tests on Monkey. He was mad, so he broke out, and for revenge, he tore down the people's balcony.
I hope if they were aliens, they bring gooey, sweet treats. We love you. Thank you for listening to the Fatal Lunch Podcast. All right, we're going to do what we do. We're going to listen to these two Sunos. We're going to get out of here, fade out on the second one. We love you. Again, please comment, subscribe.
How about one more round of applause for Pallet for all that awesome research, right?
Good job, Pallet.
Good job, Pallet.
Kenneth Copeland was riding. Album art for the song one right here.
Riding Booga Ball Dirty. Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Kenneth Copeland was riding his private jet, which is shaped like a UFO, but it was poorly built. So a bunch of debris fell, and he had to find a way out. That debris was later found in a field near Roswell. People speculated that it was aliens, but it was really a mega church pastor flushing tinfoil down the toilet. Yo, my brain is cooked talking about that Project Blue book. I'm gonna have to take a stroll down to the McDonald's in Roswell and get myself a tasty treat. If Michael Schumer's in the parking lot talking that shit about ufologists, I may just have to throw some hands. They were doing tests on Monkey. He was mad, so he broke out, and for revenge he tore down the people's balcony. I hope if they were aliens, they bring gooey sweet treats.
Gooey sweet treats. We haven't mentioned those in a while.
Thank you for.
Oh, that was great. I love when it ends right at the end before it just kind of teases you a little bit. This one's even shorter. So, all right, season 5, episode 1. We're back, baby. We love you. Fatal Lunch out.
Was riding his private jet, which is shaped like a UFO, but it was poorly built, so A bunch of debris fell and he had to find a way out. That debris was later found in a field near Roswell. People speculated that it was aliens, but it was really a mega church. Pastor flushing tinfoil down the toilet. Yo, my brain is cooked talking about that Project Blue Book. I'm gonna have to take a stroll down to the McDonald's in Roswell and get myself a tasty treat if Michael Schumer's in the parking lot talking mad shit about a ufologist. I may just have to throw some hands. They were doing tests on Monkey. He was mad, so he broke out, and for revenge she tore down the people's balcony. I hope if they were aliens they bring gooey sweet treats. We love you. Thank you for listening to the Fatal Lunch Podcast.